Hey Optimancers, Chris here. Today I want to talk about the other subclass that shows up in Wildemount, which is a subclass of fighter. Now, normally subclasses of fighter don't excite me all that much because fighter isn't nearly one of my favorite classes in the game. I find that fighter is pretty straightforward. You know, you're going to go forward, you're going to attack, probably use some like great weapon mastery or sharpshooter, and you have a good armor class, you have good hit points. All the mechanical stuff is there, but it's a fighter, and fighter itself doesn't have a lot of flavor as far as I'm concerned. And tactically, other than what you can do with feats, I don't find a whole lot that interests me with fighter that we can't do with other classes and have other things on top of it. But Echo Knight is definitely a subclass I want to try, because the Echo Knight, I think more than any other fighter in the game, create some opportunities for types of play that we haven't seen up to now in 5th edition. So today what I want to do is I want to go through the abilities for the Echo Knight, then I want to go over how those abilities can work in combat to create some tactical play that we've never seen before, and then just kind of simply go over how we would make an effective Echo Knight as a character. But before we get started, I just want to thank some of my top level Patreon subscribers. This is not all of them, but these are the first 3 Archmage level subscribers I had to my channel, and I want to thank them personally. Nick Lutz, Geek Dice, Ben Potts, thank you so much for all your support. And to anyone who's interested in subscribing to my Patreon, you will find a link in the video description down below. I'll also have a link in the comment section. And for all my other patrons that are also Archmage level supporters, I will get to you. And to those who aren't, but who are supporting me through Patreon, I really appreciate all your support. Thank you so much. So to begin with, the Echo Knight is a subclass that appears in Explorer's Guide to Wildemount. It is official content, but that said, it is not going to be allowed in Adventure League because it is a campaign-specific subclass, and it may not be allowed in even your non-Adventure League campaigns because, again, it is a campaign-specific subclass. Now, the flavor of this, I would not say, to me, screams Wildemount in regards to that versus any other campaign setting. So as a DM, I would probably allow it in a different campaign setting, and your DM might as well. So it is definitely worth checking out. Again, this is a kind of subclass that offers enough interesting things that I think I would really want to try it. I should mention, mechanically, I also think it is the most powerful fighter subclass. And this is going up against Battlemaster, Eldritch Knight. These are good subclasses, but I do think the Echo Knight far and away exceeds those once we look at how effective the abilities of this subclass are. Now, the flavor text says, a mysterious and feared frontline warrior of the Kryn dynasty, the Echo Knight has mastered the art of using Dunamis to summon the fading shades of unrealized timelines to aid them in battle. Surrounded by echoes of their own might, they charge into the fray as a cycling swarm of shadows and strikes. Now, if I was to generalize this a little bit, the Echo Knight is a fighter, and like a fighter, they have the basic fighter stuff. So you're going to get your action surge, your extra attacks, your fighting style, all that. But what they can do with their ability is they can create an echo of themselves. And the echo of themselves kind of looks like a ghost version of themselves within a certain range. They can attack from that echo. They can switch places with that echo with kind of a short-range teleport, and they can even make extra attacks through that echo. And that's just their low-level abilities. This is a very versatile and very powerful ability, this ability to create the echo. And we're going to go over a little more detail about why it's so good, but let's just go through the abilities themselves to begin with. At 3rd level, we're going to get 2 abilities, Manifest Echo and Unleash Incarnation. They could have actually probably been combined into one ability, but the main thing for Manifest Echo is you can use your bonus action on your turn to create an echo. That echo has to be within 15 feet of you, and it looks like a ghostly image of you. It has an armor class of 14 plus your proficiency bonus, so it doesn't matter what kind of armor you're wearing. It's going to have a reasonable armor class, not a super high one, but not bad, and 1 hit point, which means it can be destroyed quite easily, immunity to all conditions, and if it makes a saving throw, it uses your save. It does occupy a space, and on your turn you can have it move 30 feet in any direction, and that doesn't require any action by you. If you end your turn more than 30 feet away from the echo, it is destroyed. Once you manifest the echo, these are the things it can do. Number 1, you can teleport to its square, and then it then switches spaces with you. This uses up 15 feet of your movement, and it requires your bonus action. The second thing you can do is, when you take the attack action on your turn, you can have the attacks either come from your own space or the space of your echo. And you can even split them up. So let's say you're making an attack action and you have 2 attacks. You could make 1 attack from your own square and then 1 attack from the square in which your echo is occupying. The final thing it does is it can make an opportunity attack. So basically, anytime you can see a creature that's within 5 feet of your echo move away from it, you can use your reaction to make an opportunity attack against the creature as if you were in the echo space. Now, the wording of this is such that it doesn't matter if you have a reach weapon or anything like that. This is only going to work if a creature within 5 feet of your echo moves 5 feet away from your echo. So that kind of takes all that stuff out of it. It's more just like a standard opportunity attack. So something's beside your echo, moves away, you can make the attack. So this basically doubles our chances of being able to make an opportunity attack, because we can make it if a creature provokes an opportunity attack where we are or where our echo is. And then our other 3rd level ability is Unleash our Incarnation. This almost could have been included with the initial ability as far as I was concerned, but basically whenever we take the attack action, we can make 1 additional melee attack from the echo's position. And we can do this a number of times equal to our Constitution modifier. And we will regain the uses of this when we complete a long rest. So when I'm making an Echo Knight, I don't want to be having a low Constitution score, simply because Unleash Incarnation, especially at low levels, is a significant increase to our offense. Then at 7th level, we're going to get Echo Avatar. And this one is really powerful. We're going to talk more in detail about this later, but basically you can temporarily transfer your consciousness to your echo. As an action, you can see through your echo's eyes and hear through its ears. During this time, you are deafened and blinded, so that's from your original location, and you can sustain the effect for up to 10 minutes, and you can end it at any time, requiring no action, and while your echo is being used this way, it can be up to 1,000 feet away from you without being destroyed. Then at level 10, we're going to get Shadow Martyr. This is a 10th level ability, and what you can do is you can use your reaction to have the echo throw itself in front of an attack. The attack can be at you or any other creature that you can see, otherwise there's no range limit, and when that happens, the attack against you or that other creature automatically is against the echo instead. Then at 15th level, we're going to get Reclaim Potential. The way this works is whenever our echo is destroyed by taking damage, we can regain a number of temporary hit points. This is our choice, so we can choose whether to do it or not each time that happens. And we will gain a number of temporary hit points equal to 2d6 plus our Constitution modifier, and we can do this a number of times equal to our Constitution modifier. So if we have a Constitution modifier of, say, +3, so we have a 16 Constitution, we could expect to get about 10 temporary hit points each time we use this, and we could use this up to 3 times. And we can do this 3 times for every long rest, so about 30 hit points over an entire long rest. And then finally, our capstone, Legion of One. This is at 18th level, and the way this works is whenever we create an echo, we create 2 of them. They can do the same things that a single echo can do, except we can have 2 of them going at the same time. And in addition, whenever we start a combat and we've used up all our extra attacks through our echo, we get one of those additional attacks added on. So basically, we're going to get at least 1 additional attack in every fight we have, using the Unleashed Incarnation feature. So those are all the abilities of the Echo Knight. Now let's discuss why it is so good. So this Manifest Echo feature is just insanely powerful. The main reason I think it is so powerful is because it's not limited. So the way it works is on our turn we can use a bonus action to create an echo within 15 feet of ourselves, and we can do that on any round. And if we've used this ability 20 times already, no problem. We can use it 21, 22, 23 times. And because of that, and because all of the abilities that are assigned to it, in other words, the being able to magically swap places, the ability to use our attack action through the echo space or our own, and the ability to make opportunity attacks through that echo, because all of those things are unlimited, on top of the unlimited use of the echo, it is going to completely change how combat works. Now, if I'm making an Echo Knight, the feat I'm going to want is Sentinel. I think this is almost a must-have for an Echo Knight. If I'm going to play a variant human, I'm taking this at level 1 so that as soon as I become an Echo Knight, I'll have it. If I don't have a variant human, then I'll be taking Echo Knight at level 3 and Sentinel at level 4. So I'm not going to have to go more than one level without it. And the main reason I want to do that is for the very first ability of Sentinel. When you hit a creature with an opportunity attack, the creature's speed becomes 0 for the rest of the turn. This is going to be huge for us because we can do it through our Echo's location. So let's say for a moment that we are in town and suddenly a large creature, we'll say this one right here, comes into view and is going to attack us. So combat begins. This token right here is going to represent our fighter, and the token here with the red dot is going to represent the Echo. So on our turn, what we could do is we can move our Echo up to 30 feet in any direction. So we could move our Echo all the way over here, right up to the rooftop, because the Echo essentially can fly. It can go, like I said, in any direction. That includes up. So our Echo moves. Again, this does not require an action on our part. Then what we will do is we'll use our first 5 feet of movement and move up to the enemy. Then we'll use our bonus action, and with our bonus action we can teleport, switching places with our Echo. So now our Echo is next to the enemy, and now we are safely way apart on a rooftop out of reach of the enemy. Then our Echo can make our attacks as per normal. So our Echo then attacks the enemy and does usual damage. So then the enemy's turn comes up. So what are they going to do? Well, the first thing they might do is they might attack the Echo. If they attack the Echo, they'll very likely kill it. And then on our next turn, what we will do is we'll simply move up to here, recreate the Echo, attack again, move back, and we can repeat as per normal. And we can do this essentially as long as we want until the combat is over. If the enemy does that, we win. So the other thing the enemy might try to do is it might try to get to us. Now, if it doesn't have a ranged attack, it's going to have to somehow get onto the rooftop. Or maybe it's just big enough that it can reach onto the rooftop. So it starts to move around the building to get to us. So what do we do? Well, it just moved away from our Echo, which means we can now make an opportunity attack. And if we succeed on that opportunity attack, then the creature's speed reduces to 0. Now it's stuck once again beside our Echo. So it could attack our Echo, destroy our Echo, we can recreate the Echo again on our turn, and we can do the same thing over again. And that's it. This combat, this enemy really can't win unless we somehow miss on our opportunity attack. But even if we miss on our opportunity attack, and then the creature manages to work its way around to attack our character, well then on the next turn, we can simply switch places again. And all of a sudden it's next to our Echo, and we are safely far away, and our Echo can continue attacking. This is just going to mean that our character is going to take a fraction of the damage that we would normally expect a fighter to take in combat, without sacrificing any offense at all. The next thing I want to talk about is just the straight utility. So let's say here we are and we want to get to the top of this building. Now let's say this is maybe like a castle wall or something, and if we look we can see it is 50 feet up. So what we can do is we can use our bonus action, create our Echo Knight. Now if we move our Echo Knight so that it ends its turn more than 30 feet away from us, it disappears. But what if we end it within 30 feet of us? Then on our next turn, we can simply move it up 10, 20, 25 feet, and then we can use our bonus action on our turn and switch places with it. And because the Echo doesn't disappear until the end of our turn, it doesn't matter that it ended up more than 30 feet away from us when we made the teleport. Now the echo is simply going to disappear, and then on our next round, we're just going to make a new one. Because again, this is an infinite resource. We can just keep making echoes. So we can be using this to teleport even up to 60 feet distance just by making sure that we move 30 feet on one turn and then 30 feet on the next turn and make the switch before the end of our turn. Now the other thing I want to talk about is also the value of reach weapons. Because if we were in this situation here, where maybe we're up on a rooftop and the enemy's down here, we could simply move our echo to somewhere like here. And if we have a reach weapon, then we could be making attacks against that enemy, and they couldn't even attack our echo. And all these abilities and all these tactics are available right at level 3 if we play a variant human, or level 4 if we don't. And none of them have any kind of restriction. We can do them over and over and over again. And if we're fighting flying enemies, we've got an echo that can fly and it can go take on those flying enemies with melee attacks, which is normally not possible. The restriction there, if it ends its turn more than 30 feet away from us, it disappears. But even that, let's say we have an enemy that's 50 feet on top of us. At the beginning of our turn, our echo could be 30 feet up and move in to attack. And at the end of the turn, our echo will disappear, and then the next turn, we'll just recreate a new echo, and that echo can move up and make another attack. And we can do that round after round. Again, we can lose our echo every single round of combat. It's a bonus action to recreate it. It gets 30 feet of movement in any direction, and it can still make the attack action. Or at least we make the attack action through the square in which the echo occupies. Now that's just the level 3 stuff. At level 7, things get really interesting, because then we get Echo Avatar. And once again, just like the creating the echo, notice that this doesn't have a limit on the number of times we can use it. So we can transfer our consciousness to the echo, and then our echo can move 1,000 feet ahead of us, and for 10 minutes we can have it work as this perfect scout. Unlike a familiar that could just be killed, an echo could also be killed, but we can instantly recreate it with no resources used at all. And in addition, we can also attack through our echo square. So if some kind of enemy comes up, we can actually attack it with our echo. Or if there's some kind of easy enemy to take on, we could switch places with our echo, and then we're there, and then we can recreate a new echo right beside us and attack as per normal. And finally, we are getting 1,000-foot teleport here, because we can use the echo, we can move up to 1,000 feet distance, and then we can use our bonus action on our turn to switch places with it. And once again, this is not limited in use. So we have 1,000-foot teleport, or up to 1,000-foot teleport. Line of sight is not required, and we can do so as many times as we want to. So from a utility standpoint, this is massive for 7th level. Think about a wizard at 7th level. They have Dimension Door now. Dimension Door does not have this range and is using a 4th level slot. In addition, like with a familiar, we can use our echo to do scouting for us, but unlike with a familiar, we don't have that 100-foot range to be able to see and hear through its eyes. So we can actually move our echo 1,000 feet above us and survey the entire countryside. And we're not using any resources to do that. So utility-wise, Echo Avatar is insanely powerful. And I'm really surprised they haven't limited the number of uses here, because being able to do this a theoretically infinite number of times is massive. So then we get our Shadow Martyr. This is the one where we can have our echo take an attack instead of us or somebody we can see. How good is this one? This one is actually limited. We can only do it once every short or long rest. Well, if we want to know how good it is, let's compare it to some other level 10 abilities. And there's actually somebody who has a level 10 ability that is almost exactly the same, and that is the Illusionist Wizard. The Illusionist Wizard has an ability called Illusory Self, an ability I've always thought is reasonably good. Beginning at 10th level, you can create an illusory duplicate of yourself as an instant, almost instinctual reaction to danger. When a creature makes an attack roll against you, you can use your reaction to interpose the illusory duplicate between the attacker and yourself. The attack automatically misses you, and the illusion dissipates, and you can use it once every short or long rest. So this is actually extremely similar to Shadow Martyr. The difference is with Shadow Martyr, we can use it on ourselves or we can use it to make an attack against someone we can see miss. So Shadow Martyr is actually objectively better. The only disadvantage of Shadow Martyr is potentially we could lose our Echo, but because the Echo is an unlimited resource that we can just recreate with a bonus action on our turn, I don't consider that particularly relevant. And frankly, we could even potentially use Shadow Martyr in kind of a sneaky way. Let's say we had a couple allies, and they could be anywhere, but they have to be somewhere we can see. Maybe we're seeing them through some kind of spell or some kind of magic item, or maybe they're just at the limit of our vision. If they want me to be able to get over there instantly, what they could do is simply have one attack the other. Maybe he throws a punch or something. I could use Shadow Martyr and move my Echo over there. And as long as the attack misses, then on my turn, I could switch places with the Echo and immediately teleport to that location. And then my Echo is destroyed at the end of the turn, at which point I can recreate another one using my bonus action. So there's some potential exploits there, but just overall, Shadow Martyr is a great ability. Then Reclaim Potential. How good is this one? Well, I would say if you've got a 16 Constitution, you're going to average 30 hit points per long rest with this. So think about that. That's 30 additional hit points per day. Now this one is not as interesting as the earlier abilities. This is just a straight mechanical advantage, but 30 hit points on a 15th level character, that's 2 hit points per level. That's about as good as the tough feat. And then finally, our capstone, Legion of One. Again, a really great ability. We've already discussed how the Echo itself is infinite in essence, and Legion of One allows us to create 2 Echoes at the same time. These are 2 different places we could teleport from. These are 2 different places we could attack from. These are 2 Echoes that might be able to make opportunity attacks. These are 2 Echoes that might draw enemy attacks. And if something happens and we lose one, we still have the other Echo, so we don't necessarily have to use our bonus action on the following round to be creating a new Echo. So I'd say overall, that is pretty good. But in addition, the ability to reuse our Unleash Incarnation means we probably want to use all our uses of Unleash Incarnation right in the first combat. And then at the beginning of every combat after that, we're going to get an additional use, which is basically going to be 1 additional attack for every combat we do. That's about as good as we would expect from, say, a Gloomstalker. And keep in mind, as a fighter, we're not just getting extra attack at 5th level, but we actually get another extra attack at 11th level. And should we continue with Echo Knight as a single class, then we could potentially even get another extra attack at 20th level, and then it's giving us another attack on top of that. This is somebody who's getting a lot of attacks. Now, I will say that I would probably not take an Echo Knight to 20th level, even if I had a 20 level build, and I will explain why. The first thing I want to talk about, though, is we're a fighter. And as a fighter, we're going to get additional ability score increases. I've already discussed how important I think Sentinel is to the Echo Knight. But what other kinds of feats would I be looking at? The first one I'd be looking at is Great Weapon Master. And the reason for that is because with the Echo itself, our armor class doesn't matter. That means using something like a shield doesn't make a lot of sense for us. Instead, makes sense for us to be using both hands for attacks. So Great Weapon Master is a great way to go, but the main thing we want with this is if we make an attack with a heavy weapon, we can take a -5 penalty to the attack roll for +10 to damage. Now, in order to make the best use of this, I recommend a multi-class right at level 5, and I'll get into that in a bit. And the final feat I want to talk about, and this is something that I'm not necessarily recommending, especially at lower levels, but if I don't talk about it, people will ask me about it, and that is it worthwhile to take Polearm Master, especially when we're talking about potentially using reach weapons? And I would say that I do think Polearm Master is something I would look at higher levels. Once we start getting all those ability score increases and we're not sure where to use them, I would definitely grab Polearm Master. But I wouldn't be grabbing it at lower levels, and there's 2 reasons for that. Because technically speaking, we can't use either of these features very well, or as well as they should be used. First, if we make the attack action, we can make a bonus action attack using the butt end of the weapon with a D4 damage. But Because that is not part of the attack action, we cannot do that through our echo. So that really limits where we can be. It means that we have to place both our echo and ourselves in melee range, and we don't necessarily want to do that. The second thing is, when we have the glaive, halberd, pike, quarterstaff, or spear, creatures provoke an opportunity attack if they enter our reach. That doesn't fulfill the criteria of the opportunity attack we can make through our echo. So we can't make proper use of that either. We can only use it if they approach our square, not our echo square. So Polar Master really isn't giving us as much as we might think, so I'm not recommending it for an Echo Knight. Maybe something I might take at high levels, but not something I would be taking early on. Now that said, I think making an Echo Knight be effective is dead easy, and we actually have a lot of options in how to do it. But if we're going to look at it, let's just go really quickly through a D&D Beyond build, and I will explain the big things that I think you need to do. So number one, of course, we've got to turn on the Critical Role content so we can access the Echo Knight. When it comes to race, I really do believe that the Variant Human is going to serve you best. And that is because getting that Sentinel feat right at level 1 means you will have it available at level 3 when it's going to start coming up all the time. That reducing the speed to 0 with an opportunity attack is going to be huge for you. So with the Variant Human, I would be taking the Sentinel feat right at level 1, and then what I would do is I'd make sure my Strength and Constitution scores each got a boost, and that means I could start out each of them with a 16 score. Remember that Constitution isn't just giving us additional hit points and additional bonuses to our Constitution saving throws, but we're actually also getting additional attacks with Constitution through our Echo. Now, if I wasn't to play a human, then what I'd be looking at are races that get a bonus to Strength and Constitution. Then what I'd be doing is I'd be making sure I have a Strength and Constitution score of 16 off the bat. If we wear heavy armor, we can get away with a lower dexterity score, but you might want to increase your dexterity score just for the initiative roll. But the other stat I might be looking at is wisdom, because of course a lot of saving throws are based off wisdom, and a lot of skills that come up often, like perception, are based off wisdom as well. But I do think the most effective way to build an Echo Knight is you would begin with 5 levels of straight fighter. I would likely take great weapon fighting because, again, not a lot of value to us using a shield, not a lot of value for us to be taking something like the defensive combat style, because remember that armor class bonus would not apply to our Echo itself. And with ranged combat, although ranged combat could be reasonably effective, the Unleash Incarnation ability only applies to melee attacks, so I would be inclined to specialize in melee attacks. And speaking of Unleash Incarnation, we should talk about how it also combines with Action Surge, because Action Surge, of course, allows us to get a second action on our turn. That action could be used to make a second attack action on our turn, and as long as we have multiple uses left, then we could add an extra attack to each attack action. So at level 3, we could be making up to 4 attacks with a two-handed heavy weapon on our turn. Then once we get the extra attack feature at level 5, we could be making 6 attacks. Once we do that, we've got our 5 levels of fighter, I'd be multiclassing, and I would multiclass into Barbarian, and I would take it for 2 levels. Now there are 3 features that kind of shine with Barbarian. So Rage is okay. It's going to give us a little bit of bonus to damage. If we get caught in combat with our Echo, then we might enjoy the resistance to damage we get through it. Danger Sense is always nice to have. We get that bonus on dexterity saving throws. But the big thing we want is Reckless Attack. And Reckless Attack is going to give us advantage on our attack rolls. This is going to offset the penalty that we would get with Great Weapon Master. And because we are attacking through our Echo, and because we are often in situations where the enemy can't possibly attack us back, they would be forced to attack our Echo, Reckless Attack is perfect for us, because that normal penalty that you get from Reckless Attack is that your defense suffers. But with this character, we don't really worry about our defense, especially if the enemy cannot physically attack us. So I would be reckless attacking through my Echo's location all the time. So this just really works together well. And remember, Reckless Attack, again, is an ability that doesn't have a certain number of uses. We can use it over and over again, and I'd be using Reckless Attack all the time. And then once I've done my 2 levels of Barbarian, I would carry Fighter straight through right to 18th level. That's high enough to get our capstone for Echo Knight. So we're going to get every single Echo Knight ability, and we're going to have Reckless Attack on top of it. This is just an easy build. There's no tricks here. It just happens to work together extremely well. So that is the Echo Knight, and I do have to say, I am really impressed how excited that Echo Knight has me to play a fighter, because I want to see exactly what I can do. I think I've only scratched the surface on what we could do with an Echo, with that teleport ability that we can use over and over again, the ability to see through our Echo's eyes and hear through its ears, and be able to move it up to 1,000 feet away, and we could still teleport with it all the time. The ability to make attacks through it, the ability to make extra attacks through it. This is just something that it feels like spellcasting without the restrictions of spellcasting, where normally we're restricted to the number of spells we can cast. Now, do I think that the Echo Knight is the best fighter in the game? Yes, absolutely, by far. I'm not sure I would say it's game-breaking, but I do think it is the best fighter in the game. And I think it comes into its own right at 3rd level. We don't have to wait a number of levels to get the real big goodies of Echo Knight. The 7th level ability is also really, really big, but right at 3rd level we are getting so much with this subclass. So that is the Echo Knight. Next week I want to get back into clerics, and I want to look at a build. So let's do a cleric build next week, and then I may come back and look at Wildemount again in the future. But I just felt like I really needed to talk about the Echo Knight because it's so neat and it's so cool. It's a fighter subclass that has me excited to play a fighter. That is unheard of. I am normally a spell guy, and I normally only want to play classes that have spells. But the Echo Knight's abilities really do feel like spells, and there's so much versatility there that I really think that this is something that would maintain my interest. What are your views of the Echo Knight? Let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, until next week, I'm going to sit back, relax, and have some fun. D&D is for everyone. Thanks, everyone, and I'll talk to you next week.